Now we'll go to create the controller. As I told you, the controller receives the request for the users, and after, for example, to update the data, and in the model we ask database and we will update the database. So for the controller, they don't have any idea about data persistence. Now we go to our project and we create the controller. So here we have our project. Before we create the model, now we create the controller. So here we do added and folder and controller. And inside we will have the different controller, and for that we'll create controller for the book. So we do added controller, controller empty, and here we give the name of controller. For example, for our example, we do a book and we click add. So now we have created the controller. By default we have index, and we'll delete that for this moment. Now we create the constructor. So we do public book controller, and in our controller we define a repository for book and a repository for category. So we do private read only of, we include model, and for a book repository, and we do the same for category. Perfect. And we will do dependence injection. So here we receive in parameter book and perfect, and here we initialize of book, and we do the same for category. So we have now the repository. Because we have saved it in startup, we have saved the scope here, so we can use in our controller directly the repository of the book and a repository for the category. So here we have applied dependence injection. So we receive in a constructor the repository of the book and a repository for a category, because we have saved in startup the interface and the mock. So in our controller we have access to data for database. For example, we define a method for to get the list of books. So we do public result, view result, and list. And for that, here we define a variable books, and to get the different books. So repository of books and get all books. Perfect. And return the view to users, the result of this action. So we do return view and books. Perfect. So now we created this method to get the list of books. As you see, the controller, they receive the request and they get the different books for the models, and they display the result in the view for the users. Now Control S, and we try to build our application. So it succeeded, no problem. We can't execute our application because we don't created the view. For the next section, we'll create the view to display the different books for our library.